In Hollywood, Cary Grant was the embodiment of refinement. However, the legend has it that a man behind all that celebrity decided he had had enough of the spotlight and decided to focus on being a father instead. His alleged abrupt departure had deeper, more sinister motives than anyone had anticipated, and had nothing to do with family. Jennifer Grant is finally speaking out, and the world will finally learn the truth about the father everyone thought they knew. Did he really appear to be the doting father he said he was? Maybe Hollywood wants you to miss Cary Grant's secret side. Come with us as we investigate the scandalous relationship between Cary Grant and his daughter. Authentic Cary Grant. The legendary Cary Grant, the actor, suddenly went downhill following a stroke in Davenport, Iowa. One of Hollywood's most renowned actors, Grant was famous for his decades-long career and charming, romantic performances. One reviewer even went so far as to say he had the longest love reign in cinema's brief existence. Beyond his legendary performances, though, there was a lot more to his life. Grant startled everyone in 1966 by deciding to raise his daughter Jennifer out of the limelight, even though he was at the peak of his celebrity. He declined millions of dollars, moved to Beverly Hills, and became a full-time dad. Everything appeared to be going swimmingly until Jennifer Grant broke her silence to show the darker, more complicated side of the ideal father figure. A man engrossed in manipulation and control emerges from Jennifer's revelations in a troubling light. Cary Grant's connection with his only daughter is destroyed by his obsession with creating the ideal childhood, which he never experienced. Archibald Alec Leach was born Cary Grant on January 18, 1904, in a humble cottage in Bristol, England. His childhood was anything but glamorous. Elias, the father, was a garment presser who earned just enough to keep his family afloat during their tough financial times. Elsie, his mother, stayed at home most of the time but had aspirations of becoming a seamstress. Due to their limited financial resources, young Archie frequently found himself relocating from one residence to another as a result of the hardships he endured. Life was challenging, yet it was through the tough times that Archie's talent blossomed. The battle that led to fame. Archie found his passion for performing in their most stable residence on Berkeley Road. He started taking piano lessons when he was 4 years old and soon was entertaining his neighbors with informal performances. When he was 6 years old, his mother used all of her savings to purchase tap shoes, having recognized his aptitude. Remembering picnics in the woods and infrequent visits to the Bristol Hippodrome to watch live acts brought moments of joy to Archie's life despite their challenges. Nevertheless, Archie's world was flipped on its head at the tender age of 9. His mother had vanished the day he returned from school. Although his father had informed him that mother had gone on an extended vacation, the reality was much more agonizing. Because of her severe mental illness, his mother was sent to a mental institution. Archie was in the dark regarding his mother's true destiny for more than 2 decades. He was devastated by the news of her commitment to a mental institution, and the anguish he felt as a result permeated his entire soul. He started having problems at school, started stammering, and started wetting the bed. Regardless of the obstacles, he persisted. But Archie immersed himself in the theater, where he loved to be, working backstage and fantasizing about a life outside from the norm. He was hell-bent on overcoming his hardships, but the road ahead was everything but smooth. In the age of 14, Archie's problems in school became much worse. He was kicked out after an incident that took place in the girls' lavatory. Perhaps this was the tipping point. Instead of giving up, he went back to the Hippodrome and met Bob Pender, the head of the comedy team, who recognized his talent. After accepting Pender's job offer, Archie dove headfirst into training for stilt walking, comedy, and stage skills. Still, what kind of achievements might a Bristol lad achieve? Did he have what it took to make it big, or would he be stuck in the squalid world of vaudeville? An ultra-unlikely star. No matter how hard the work or how long the hours were, Archie never gave up. He persisted even after his first disastrous performance, in which he froze on stage and was removed, did not deter him. As Archie persisted in his practice, his perseverance paid off. He shot to fame after pulling off risky feats like walking on stilts while juggling torches. He was dubbed the rubber-legged wonder, Archie Leach, for his distinctive combination of physical prowess and comedic timing. As he grew accustomed to this entertaining stage presence, his popularity started to soar. His skill as an artist blossomed with each performance, laying the groundwork for a career that would one day extend well beyond the intimate Bristol stages. Despite the obstacles he encountered, his ambition of becoming something more was beginning to materialize. The Pender Squad organized a tour in America when Archie was 16 years old, and it was his big break. With the expectation of better chances, he sailed with them to New York City in 1920. He would never be the same after this journey. He joined the group for a performance in New York at the world-renowned New York Hippodrome, the biggest theater in the world back then. New opportunities presented themselves to Archie, and he soon came to understand that this was a pivotal time that may determine his destiny. It was more than just a performance, it was the first step on the road to stardom. But is it possible for someone who was once a stilt walker and had very little money to succeed in the highly competitive entertainment industry? New York was a watershed moment in Archie's career, as he went from stilt walker to star. He received his first taste of the big time in show business when he performed with the ensemble in the New York Hippodrome, the biggest theater in the world, which could seat more than 5,000 people. The performances were immensely popular. However, Archie made a decision that would alter everything as the trip came to a close. He did not go from the United States. Since he was so low on funds, he worked odd jobs to make ends meet. At posh events for wealthy ladies, he even worked as an escort. These opportunities afforded him a unique window into the lifestyle, language, and fashion of the well-to-do. The charisma and sense of flair that would come to characterize Archie as the legendary Cary Grant were shaped as he honed these abilities. Archie persevered through the hardships and in 1927 landed a bit part in a Broadway musical. It was a humble beginning, but with dedication and hard work, his performances led to greater possibilities in the theater. His doggedness paid off as he gradually gained recognition and landed more substantial jobs. Paramount Pictures took note of him shortly after he bravely decided to try his luck in Hollywood in 1931, following years of struggle in New York. He inked a 5-year deal with the studio on December 7, 1931. From a struggling actor to a Hollywood star, this moment marked the beginning of his transition. However, getting a contract with a Hollywood studio was only the beginning. Was it really possible for Archie Leach to become someone everyone would remember? Getting famous in the film industry. When Archie inked a deal with a major studio, a lot of things changed. A complete overhaul of his persona took place. According to Paramount, Archie Leach isn't a name that conjures images of a Hollywood actor. Therefore, they were on a mission to build something fresh. Suddenly, Archie Leach was no more. They cast Cary, who had previously appeared on Broadway in a musical called Nicky, and chose Grant from a pool of candidates. Cary Grant, poised for the limelight, stood in his stead. A remarkable new chapter had begun with the change of name. It was by the end of 1931 that Cary Grant was well on his way to becoming a legendary celebrity in Hollywood. He was finally going to see the fruits of his labor after all his hard work, dedication, and brilliance had brought him this far. There was more at stake than simply changing his name. Becoming a new person was the theme. After rebranding himself and securing a contract with a major studio, Cary Grant was prepared to conquer Hollywood and put his struggles in the past. After a disappointing performance as an Olympic javelin thrower and a cameo with Marlene Dietrich in Blonde Venus, Grant's roles upon his arrival in Hollywood in 1932 were far from legendary. Captain Cummings, a stern Salvation Army soldier who catches Mae West's attention in 1933's She Done Him Wrong, was the role that altered his life. The film was a huge success for more reasons than one. Impressively, it made $2 million at the box office despite the Great Depression's devastating impact on the economy. Prevent the financial collapse of Paramount Pictures. They were repaired in I'm No Angel that same year, and his weekly compensation nearly doubled from $450 to $750 in recognition of his burgeoning fame in Hollywood. Mae West would later playfully claim she discovered Grant, but her intuition about his star potential was evident. But why would a young star who was becoming wealthy during the Great Depression leave the studio that had helped him become famous, risking everything for the sake of his stardom? Loving despite all odds. Cary Grant was well respected for his personal life as much as his Hollywood career. After tying the knot on Christmas Day, 1949, with actress Betsy Drake, he had his longest-lasting marriage for 13 years. They were madly in love after meeting on the Queen Mary, a cruise liner. Betsy exposed Cary to LSD therapy while they were dating. This was very unique for that period. Cary took LSD more than 100 times while visiting a doctor. After a troubled upbringing, he felt it helped him overcome his issues and achieve peace with himself. His marriage to Betsy ended in 1962 despite the fact that he felt better after therapy. Their time on LSD influenced Betsy to pursue a career in therapy. She later admitted that in her pursuit of Cary's happiness, she had lost touch with who she was. With Betsy out of the way, the age disparity in Cary and Diane Cannon's marriage became newsworthy. They tied the knot on July 22, 1965, at his 61st year and her 28th. They appeared content at first, despite all the attention their relationship was receiving. Cary was ecstatic to become a father for the first time in 1966 when his daughter Jennifer was born. But things went downhill fast. Diane said that he became overbearing and judgmental of her choices in clothing, profession, and attractiveness. Additionally, she claimed that he coerced her into ingesting LSD, which resulted in terrifying hallucinations. Claims of abuse and a contentious custody dispute over their daughter led to the dissolution of their marriage in 1968. For the benefit of their daughter Jennifer, Cary and Diane managed to work over the animosity that had accompanied their acrimonious divorce. It was not easy to be Cary Grant. He struggled to maintain both his authentic self and the idealized persona that others wanted of him. It was clearly challenging for him to maintain his Cary Grant persona throughout his problematic marriages. The charismatic actor was actually a regular guy with difficulties, just like the rest of us. When the cameras weren't rolling, though, who was Cary Grant behind the Hollywood mystique and the failed marriages? What sort of father was he when no one was looking? The autobiography of a daughter. She wrote about her father in her memoir, Good Stuff. Jennifer Grant opened out about her childhood with her renowned father in a very candid and personal way. She spoke highly of Cary Grant, describing him as a caring but complex character who was very protective of her recollections of her youth. He would meticulously chronicle her every move, from her first steps to her milestones, to make sure that no detail was missed. To ensure that the moments he treasured would last, Jennifer revealed that Dad had constructed a climate-controlled vault specifically for the purpose of storing mementos such as her baby teeth, artwork, and school assignments. Jennifer exposed a darker side of her father, despite his undying love. She admitted that their relationship was impacted by his fixation on recreating the ideal upbringing he had never had. On occasion, Jennifer felt stifled by Grant's obsession with micromanaging her life and ensuring its perfection. His obsessive need to protect her from any form of hurt or letdown stemmed from his deep love for her. Jennifer fondly remembered her father despite these complications. She cherished the principles he instilled in her, such as the importance of working hard and managing one's finances, and she spoke about him with affection. Jennifer also discussed the more intimate details of her father's life, including his encouragement for her to form a strong relationship with his ex-wife Barbara. Jennifer recalled her father with a blend of adoration, affection, and the complexities that accompany growing up in the shadow of a legendary figure, despite the rumors and his tangled connections. Did Cary Grant, after a lifetime of stardom, reinventions, and personal hardships, finally discover the everlasting joy that he had sought all along? The peaceful last years of Grant Barbara Harris, Cary Grant's final wife, brought him everlasting joy in 1981. They were inseparable, regardless of their ages. He was 77 and she was 30. They were a great team. Their friendship blossomed organically after they met while Barbara was an employee at a hotel. Cary took it easy and avoided the spotlight in his later years as Barbara's husband. While on the road, he loved her company and saw to it that she developed a strong bond with his daughter, Jennifer. Friends and family who knew him well remarked that his final years with Barbara were the happiest of his life, especially considering his troubled journey through marriage. Until his death in 1986, Cary and Barbara remained a couple. Finally, after years of scrutiny and turmoil, he found the perfect item. Instead of playing the role of Cary Grant the movie star, he could be himself around Barbara. However, even after his death, rumors regarding his affair with his close friend Randolph Scott persisted. On the set of Hot Saturday in 1932, Grant and Scott initially crossed paths. Their friendship blossomed rapidly, and they eventually moved in together at a Santa Monica beach mansion they dubbed Bachelor Hall. Their cohabitation garnered a lot of interest and conjecture from the public for a long time, from 1932 to 1944. Scott and Grant were married and divorced multiple times during this time, yet rumors about their tight connection persisted throughout Hollywood. Was Cary Grant, however, just a product of that era of Hollywood when star power trumped acting? Alternatively, did he conceal more of his tale from the world? Intricate legacies of Grant. There was never any evidence to support the vicious rumors that circulated, claiming that Randolph Scott attempted suicide after Cary's wedding. The two men insisted time and time again that they were merely buddies. Due to a joke that implied Chevy Chase was having an affair with his male best buddy, Cary sued Chase for $10 million in 1980. No one ever stopped suspecting him, even after they resolved it privately. Even among their closest acquaintances, views on their relationship were mixed. Those who lived with them for a while, like Richard Blackwell, said they were head over heels for each other, but those who worked with them, like Betty White, thought they were just a couple. In spite of the fact that they no longer lived in the same flat, their friendship endured. Speculation of their everlasting bond began in the 1970s, when witnesses allegedly saw the two of them holding hands in a cafe. His daughter Jennifer Grant, though, shot down the reports. She said she would have been completely behind him if the rumors had been real, but alas, they weren't. Diane Cannon, Grant's ex-wife, held a significantly different view. Although she did not believe Grant had romantic feelings for women, she did remember an instance when he displayed an unusual amount of friendliness towards the captain of the ship. Bill Roy, who was Grant's house sitter, also provided an account. According to what Roy heard from Cary, his attraction varied over time, going from males to women to a mix of the sexes. According to Cary, it's like acting, you don't have to stay in one part forever. Cary may have viewed himself in this light as someone who could develop and mature with the passage of time. He set out on an impromptu quest to discover who he was in 1958, when he was 54 years old. However, was healing actually the goal of this voyage of self-discovery? Alternatively, may it have been Cary Grant's means of settling the mysteries surrounding his own identity? Topics that neither Hollywood nor he was ever willing to address in full? From acid therapy to legacy. Everything in Grant's life shifted when he took the daring step of beginning acid therapy. His mother abandoned him when he was 11 years old, and he never recovered from the trauma of that loss. He was having inner struggles despite the fact that he was a movie star and had to seem great all the time. He continued to do around 100 acid sessions per year for the following 2 years. He was still healing from past hurts and learning more about himself even as he was releasing blockbuster albums like Charade and North by Northwest. Acid, according to Grant, accelerated his recovery more than conventional treatment. Even after he passed away, he desired solitude. In accordance with his wishes, his loved ones cremated his remains and spread the ashes in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California, a location he deeply cherished. He had previously expressed his desire for a private funeral. Tributes came in from all over the world, even though the service was somewhat low-key. The charismatic former president, who had a successful acting career himself, hailed him as one of Hollywood's biggest performers. He was further solidified as one of the greatest actors of all time when director Peter Bogdanovich and pal Frank Sinatra both offered encouraging remarks. Among the greatest performers of his day, Grant was hailed by Sinatra as a private gentleman, and director Peter Bogdanovich proclaimed him the most significant actor in cinematic history. His co-star in the Philadelphia narrative, Katharine Hepburn, gushed about him, saying he was the ideal male companion and personification of all women's romantic ideals. After 4 films together, Alfred Hitchcock spoke highly of Grant, describing him as the only actor he had ever loved. Meryl Streep, who was much younger than Grant, was a fan of his and said that he exhibited an unattainable level of elegance and charisma. No one could deny the impact he had on Hollywood and beyond. In reality, though, Cary Grant was every bit the guy his admirers and haters said he was. Its impact is ever present. Grant's impact is still felt today. His charisma and sense of flair have been an influence on many performers down the years. Even contemporary actors such as Hugh Jackman and George Clooney frequently mention him as an influence. Particularly noteworthy is Clooney's admission that Grant's air of self-assurance and refinement inspired him to pursue acting. The impact Grant had on the fashion industry is just one more reason why his work is admired beyond cinema. Perfectly fitted suits and classic elegance were hallmarks of the Cary Grant style, which is still recognizable today. Oliver Peoples created sunglasses in 2020 inspired by Cary Grant's iconic shades from North by Northwest, demonstrating that his style is still highly regarded. You can understand why he continues to have such a large fan base. His acting chops were second to none. His charisma and kindness made him approachable to a wide audience, and he proved that actors could be sophisticated without being pretentious. Modern Hollywood actors and actresses frequently watch his films for advice on how to seem charismatic without being forced. Plus, it's not limited to acting. The way he carried himself, the clothes he wore, and his effortless charm are all things that regular people still remark on. Being charming, approachable, and genuine all at once is a rare combination. It was absolutely Cary Grant. That is why his popularity has only grown over the years. What are your thoughts on the information that Cary Grant's daughter shared about him? Does the complexity of his connections and his private life enrich his legacy in your opinion? Or does his legendary cinematic persona take precedence? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment below. For more, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Be sure to click on the video that appears next. Get ready to have a blast with it.